Star Wars Battlefront II sales are bad. They are massively down on last year's Battlefield 1 and Star Wars Battlefront the year before. And that might be no surprise given all the drama that the game's caused in the last couple of weeks.
EA's blockbuster shooter for this year, Star Wars Battlefront 2, has of course caused a huge controversy over the last couple of weeks. The overly aggressive monetization with microtransactions and loot boxes, which is pretty much actively hostile towards the players that buy the game, has caused the company some massive problems. EA got themselves the most downvoted comment in Reddit history after offering a weak source reply to fan concerns, and the company made multiple U-turns in the run-up to launch in an effort to calm gamers' pay-to-win fears for the game. That culminated in the complete temporary removal of microtransactions from Star Wars Battlefront 2 just before the game arrived on Friday, allegedly after a phone call direct from Disney CEO Bob Iger to EA boss Andrew Wilson. And now that the game is finally out, the reviews aren't exactly great, with 71 on Metacritic for the Xbox and PS4 version and 72 on PC. It's also got about a 0.8 on PS4 and 0.5 on Xbox for user reviews, which, according to some on the internet, is the lowest user score in Metacritic's history. All the drama and community backlash even had Wall Street investors nervous about the game's success, with analysts saying recent controversies were a potential risk. That investor anxiety was reflected in EA's share price on Monday, as reported by GameSpot. EA's shares fell by $2.78, or about 2.5%, amidst all the controversy. It's worth noting, though, that the company's shares are up by 42% this year as a whole, so do take everything in context.
They hold two records now, Mike. They hold the most downvoted comment on Reddit and also the lowest user score in Metacritic's history. Not the kind of records they were looking to set with this game.
They have really set gamers alight with this, though. They've properly got people furious about it. I've never seen anything like it. No Man's Sky last year was to my mind the biggest gaming controversy we've had in a long time, but I think this is almost there in terms of rage and to just kind of, weight of opinion on the internet that's really turned against them. EA weren't the most popular guys anyway, and they've definitely had a bad time of it with this release. I mean, it's just gone horribly wrong for them.
It's sort of galactic scale,
you
might say galactic scale.
Something like that.
Well, anyway, now the game is finally actually out on store shelves, we can see the real impact that the drama has actually had on the game. And it turns out those nervous Wall Street investors were right to be worried. Sales of the new Battlefront are down, big style, at least here in the UK. First week sales are more than 50% down in the UK compared with last year's Battlefield 1. Sales are also down on 2015's Star Wars Battlefront by 61%. Of course, we shouldn't ignore the fact that digital sales, which we have no figures for, will almost certainly make up a lot of that drop. But as a result of these weak sales, Battlefront 2 didn't even manage to reach #1 in the UK during its launch week, with Call of Duty World War II staying at the top spot after a full 2 weeks on sale.
And Battlefront's not even the only game to cause EA a self-inflicted shot in the foot this week, though. Need for Speed Payback, another EA title tainted with allegedly pay-to-win microtransaction loot boxes and a balked progression system as a result, is now apparently retooling how loot boxes work following community feedback. In a Reddit post, developer Forge said it's making an effort to improve experience with the progression in order to make it more enjoyable. The developer added, quote, "Today's changes are just phase 1 and we have further tweaks coming." So there you go, it's been a bit of a mess for EA with all this stuff going on. It's 2 games, remember. I mean, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has completely eclipsed what's going on with Need for Speed Payback, because Need for Speed Payback is a very similar set of issues, I think, isn't it really? But not so many people are talking about that because of how badly the Star Wars PR has gone down for them. Absolute shit show for them, and I hope it's a harsh lesson learned. I've seen a few sites doing editorials on this and saying, oh, it needs to have cosmetic items and stuff instead of progression-based loot boxes, which means you just get skins and whatnot rather than actually unlockable weapons and abilities. Disney just won't allow it. It needs to look like Star Wars, right? It needs to look like a Star Wars battle that's taking place. And if you want that to happen, then a certain amount of players are going to have to just be, your average stormtrooper or your average kind of rebel soldier or droid or whatever. They've got to look the part to sell that kind of Star Wars thing. Disney are so protective with the way things look and sound and whatever, I can't see that happening. And I really hope that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is done some justice down the line. I hope it does become the game that it should have been in some sense. It's not going to be what we were all hoping, I guess, but at least they can do something and really come up with a system that isn't as obnoxious as it is.
There are loot boxes still in there, and that's not the way I want to progress my character in a game. Like random loot boxes, that's bullshit.
Honestly, there's nothing lamer than opening a loot box. It's just, it just takes you out of the experience completely, and having to flip the cards round to see what they are and stuff. It's so It's so pathetic.
Boring.
I mean, it's absolutely boring. It's like free-to-play mobile game, which, by the way, the game costs £60 for the digital version in the UK. It's absolutely outrageous, and it's about 50 in some supermarkets, for example, for the physical copy, which is pretty unheard of, to be honest. They know that people will buy it. They know that it's a Star Wars multiplayer shooter. Before a big Star Wars movie comes out, they're going to shift loads of copies. They were planning on this being a big cash cow for them, and it clearly has hurt them because they're not selling as many copies as they should.
Last year we made a few videos. Why is nobody playing Dishonored 2? Why is nobody playing COD Infinite Warfare? Why is nobody playing Watch Dogs 2? There's no doubt why people aren't playing this game. It's because of all the controversy. We don't even have to clickbait this one. There's so many negative things being said about EA and their implementation of loot boxes. There's a suggestion that it's gambling. There was that investigation in Belgium and also ongoing in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about loot boxes now. Great, that's fantastic. The next publisher to come along and integrate loot boxes in their game, they're going to be very shy about doing that, that's for sure. And that's the result that we wanted as gamers. We don't want this loot box bullshit. That's for companies to try and make more money out of us. We don't want a game to buy at 60 quid and then have microtransactions on top of that. That's bullshit. This is a great result for us. So going forward, it's going to be such a gamble for game developers to throw loot boxes in their games like this and run the risk of getting the headlines that EA got this week. Nah, not into that. Like, they're obviously going to be put off. So, but let's just hope that we can keep up this kind of negativity towards loot boxes. We don't let's ignore it in future. The next game to come up with this aggressive loot box type of strategy, business strategy, we jump on that too and just stamp out the flames and stop it from taking again.
How beautiful is it that you're saying that they are nervous about the gamble of putting loot boxes in their game? Oh, that's quite poetic, that. And we'll leave you for that one. Yes, a little imagery there for you.
So EA stock prices are down. Sales for Battlefront 2 are down. Where did they go next? What did they do after this? Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. There's another video for you to watch right now on the screen there. Support us on Patreon if you are awesome. We will see you again next time. Bye for now.